Hello everyone, in this video we'll be seeing how we manage deployments using Kubernetes engine and see the different types of deployments blue, green, canary, etc. And I'll be using Google provided labs, which is free of cost. You can also get this if you register for Google Arcade. So in this video, I'll cover both Arcade task as well as the Kubernetes deployment basics. Okay, enough of introduction. Let's start our today's topic, and this might be a lengthy video. You can watch it in 1.5x or 2x speed. This video have total 5 tasks and initial setup that we'll be seeing one by one. In the step 1 is starting with how we launch the lab and how we use the credits to launch it. So the lab starts like this. You need to click on the start lab button, which you see on the left side. Click on start lab and it will ask you for whether to use the credits or the token. I'm clicking on the credits. Basically this lab requires 5 credits. Once you click on that, it will load the credentials you see on the left side. Once you click open Google Cloud Console, it will pop up window, but it never opens. So in order to open, you need to click on control and click on that button. So it will open in the new tab. And then you need to match your Gmail account, whether it is matching with the username that is provided. So once it is okay, you just need to click on terms of service and click accept. Next, if you move on to the task, here you see the setup, how the initial setup, and it is basically like how you log in into that account that you already did with a click. And next you need to do a Cloud Shell activation, which will be on the right side of your dashboard. Maybe it's not on the screen, it's by somehow it got trimmed, but you'll see on the right side will have a icon Cloud Shell. Once it is open, you need to authorize it. So for now you need to click continue and then you need to authorize your credentials. So once you click on authorize, it will provision your Cloud Shell mission and connect with your account. So moving back to the task, here you have different commands which I'll just execute: gcloud, auth list, and all. So if you execute, it will show a few details about the authorization list that we have, which means nothing but the account basically. Yeah, so it shows the account which is authorized to use this Cloud Shell. And then if you scroll, you have gcloud config list projects, which will basically do list the project that is currently being used. And similarly, we have zone configuration. So we'll be using US East here. So that is the command we need to use here to set up the zone. And that also will run in this Cloud Console. Done. So the property got updated. And then what we do is we get a sample code for this lab by using the command. You just need to copy paste. Basically, if you are keen and interested, you can learn this command because we don't use it here itself. It will be used in vast number of services. So gcloud storage, which is nothing but it is copying the data and everything. So next step will be creating a cluster with 3 nodes, and we'll see why and all in the next steps. So we are pasting that command to create 3 clusters. So it will take a little while to get all your clusters up and ready. Right, so we got our 3 nodes here, and status, if you see, it is in running state. So the initial setup is done. Now we are looking at the task 1, where we learn about deployment objects, basically using the explain keyword. So if you use kubectl explain deployment, it will explain what are the different attributes we use, what is the version, kind, group, and metadata that we can use in the deployment. Okay, basically it's a man command in the Linux. I mean, it's a kind of man command that we use in the Linux. Simply we can get details of the metadata objects and fields by simply specifying -recursive flag and all. This you can learn by yourself. And next we are going to create a deployment wherein we already have this deployment file, or we are just viewing using a cat command here. So if you do a cat, it will display the file here. Next we are trying to create the deployment. kubectl create deployment, which basically try to create the deployment. And then, so if you see the word get, it means just listing out. So if you are using kubectl, get will basically give details of pods and then deployments, replica sets and all. So here basically we are performing get command just to see what are the replica sets, how many number of pods we have and all. And now we are trying to create a service, which is simply kubectl create -f service. So once it is done, we can also list the service as well using a get keyword. So if you give kubectl get service, it will display the IP and all that where the service is actually running. Okay, so now we'll see whether the service is up and running. So by hitting curl command and using the external IP that we have in our previous command output. So once it is done, so we are simply hitting, and it is showing the version here because we are hitting an API slash version. Okay, so the version that we gave here is 1.00, so that's why we are getting that one. And basically this is some kind of syntax that we can use to get the version using without using external IP. Okay, so if you're not sure about external IP, you can use this one. It will automatically go to the HTTP kubectl, and from the service it will directly get the IP. So both yields the same output. But if you don't know the IP, you can replace with the kubectl get service fortune app and all, which you can see in the, which you can pause and see the command. So once it is done, you can click on check my progress. It is done. So we have done the deployment, created deployment successfully. And now what we do is scale a deployment. So we are doing a scale deployment wherein we increase the replica set to 5. So initially it is I think 3. Now we just did a replica set. So if you're done, if you're done, you can use kubectl get replica set and it will show 5. Next you have WC, which is word count. You can use the get command, and you can use grep in the combination as well as WC, and it will yield just a number 5, just like this. And you can also list the pods by giving kubectl get pods. And so now we'll going back and scaling down the replica sets to 3 using the command, so wherein we specify the flag replica set equals to 3. And now without any delay, it will scale down all the replica sets to 3. So you see the desired and current is 3, and you can use the word count as well. Now it will give only value 3. Now we'll going to the task 3, where we do a rolling update, uh, wherein we just update some part of the file or some image which will affect. So for that editing, we'll use the kubectl edit command. We are going to edit the deployment fortune app blue, which is already running. So we paste this command here, kubectl edit deployment fortune app blue, and we need to change the image to 2.0 version. If you are familiar with Linux, if you click on I, it will go to interactive mode and you can edit the file. Now we are editing the image. So initially it is 1.2 0.0, now we are making it 2. And similarly, we are updating the version equals to 2 in the metadata, which will be in your next update environment variable. Okay, we did changed, and all you have to do is click escape, colon and WQ, which will save your file. And that even that you can see as a third point here, escape and colon WQ, which will save the file. This is nothing but saving the deployment. Okay, so we did save it, and the deployment got updated. So if you give kubectl get replica sets, you see that there is new version image or new version pod that is created. So if you give kubectl rollout history, it shows version 1 and version 2, which should be ideal. Yeah, so if you see the revision, we have 1 and 2. And next one, we are pausing a rolling update. So basically we use a rollout pause to pause the update, but I think it might have already done the update. Let's see the status. kubectl rollout status deployment app blue. So it says successfully rolled out. Even if it is paused, it shows the same output. Even if it is completed, it shows the same output. Ideally, it should show 1 and 2 versions of pods if we use the below command. Um, but I suspect it is already rolled out, but let's give a try. Okay, if you see this one, it is giving an updated one. Let's continue resuming the update version. So we are giving kubectl rollout resume, and it is resumed, and we are checking the status next. Status is also fine. Next we are trying to roll out and undo deployment. So if you do a rollout, it should shift back to version 1, which will see whether it is working or not. So verify that version pods set back to 1. So if you give curl and version, it is coming back to 1.0.0. So which means we rolled out successfully. And the task 4, which is canary deployment, create a canary deployment. So basically we do have all the files while copying itself. So let's check the file basically. So if you give a cat, it shows version is 2.0 and the app is Fortune app. It matches the label and it's try to create a canary deployment. Now we'll use the command to create the deployment. Maybe you can't see it on the screen. It got trimmed for some reason. The canary deployment got created, and we'll see the status by checking the deployments. As I said, kubectl get will gives you the deployment spots and everything. So if you see the deployments, the app canary got created, and after canary deployment, what we are doing, we need to verify the canary deployment. For that we have this command. Basically, it's nothing but it's trying to run a loop, and every time the API hits, it will show whether it is hitting to version 1 or version 2. We already have a canary deployment, so it is 2.0 version. So the API hitting both 1 and as well as 2, which is nothing but the canary deployment. And if you run this several times, you should see that most of the requests served version 1 and small subsets are served by 2, because obviously we did only one deployment for canary. And next is task blue-green deployment, wherein the same thing, we apply a service to point to blue. Okay, we had the canary, right? So we'll bring it back to version 1. So I think once we apply the blue service, it will again point it to 1.00 version. Okay, now we need to create a green deployment for version 2.0. Okay, we have this command already, kubectl create deployment fortune app green.yaml, which is created. And then once green deployment has started, we need to verify the current version is being served as 1.00 or not. So we'll just copying this command and pasting here, so that we'll verify before proceeding whether all the versions are pointing to 1.00 or not. So here if you see, it is version is pointing to 1.0. So we can simply we can safely apply the blue green service. Okay, so we are pasting the kubectl apply service slash app green service YAML, so which is applied. Now you should see version 2 is always pointing or not. So if you give this command, it is always points to version 2. Earlier it is version 1.0. Now we'll see blue-green rollback, which means you have done applying blue-green. Now we try to roll back that one to 1.1 if you find some bugs or something. Apply that blue-green service, the first command we use, and the second one we can use curl https and the version. You can click on check progress and blue-green deployment is successful. So rollback is nothing but we use a command and there we get back your old version, which is 1.0, and that's it. We are done with the lab, and if you have any comments, let me know, and do subscribe for more such videos.